Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Heading into a holiday week, Thanksgiving not the problem. It's getting to dinner that could be dangerous. Jason?
Ben, weeks after one New York City mayor gets out of the race for president, another one gets in. We'll tell you what kind of splash it might make here in Michigan. Devin?
We're going to begin, Jason, with the high school playoff game that ended in chaos. Now we're getting new clues into what may have set the whole thing off, and we'll start there on Local 4 News at 5. Tonight, Almont School Superintendent promising an investigation into the fight during its playoff game against Detroit Denby and allegations of racist behavior in the stands.
Victor Williams is live at Denby High School tonight, and Victor, players from both teams had to be escorted off the field.
Yes, absolutely. Things got very heated out there on the gridiron, but both sides agree that what happened at this football game was very unnecessary.
You got adults, racial slurs, spitting, this, that, and the other. It's sad.
Denby High football parent Patrick McKnight says it's an absolute shame what took place following the semifinals of the state championship between Denby and Almont High. Chaos among Denby football players and spectators in support of Almont.
You got to keep in mind you're dealing with a bunch of kids.
But what led to this happening in the first place? The Detroit Public Schools Community District sent us this statement regarding the incident, which reads, based upon preliminary findings, it's our understanding that Almont adult spectators were cursing and spitting on our coaches and players after the game while leaving the field. But Almont Community School District Superintendent Dr. William Calmer, who was there, says that's not the case, at least from his perspective.
While there were jeers and taunts, I did not necessarily hear anything that I would consider to be racial epithets or racial slurs. I'm not saying they didn't happen. I'm just saying that we don't have evidence of it.
Dr. Calmer and both the principal as well as the athletic director all agree that there were some agitators among the Almont crowd, but if any are proven to have used racial slurs, they'll face major consequences.
If they're members of our community that poured gasoline on the fire, so to speak, we're working to identify those, and if we find out who they are, they're going to be banned from our campus in any event.
And we're also told there was a lot of back and forth going on by way of social media between the both of these schools, but both of these districts are handling an investigation regarding this incident. Reporting live on the east side, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Victor, is it any indication that this is going to be reported to the Michigan High School Athletic Association?
Well, I'm hearing that the Detroit Public Schools Community District, they are making records of all of this, and they're going to be sending all of that on to the Athletic Association.
Yeah. All right, Victor, keep us posted.
Meanwhile, sex assault charges against a grandfather and father are dropped after an attorney general investigation.
The AG's office dropped criminal sexual conduct charges against Larry Orr and Sean McMaster because former Assistant Attorney General Brian Kaloje was working the case. Kaloje was forced to resign in September after having an inappropriate relationship with a victim in a case he was prosecuting. After his resignation, the AG's office looked into every case in which Kaloje was involved. The investigation took 2 months and involved 24 interviews.
An investigation is underway after a deadly assault at a home on Detroit's west side. Here's what we know though so far. The assault happened at a home on Schaefer between Linden and Finkel. Police tell us a neighbor heard a loud commotion, went to check it out. A 54-year-old woman was found dead in a bathtub full of water. Police are treating it as a homicide, but so far there is no word on a suspect. We are capping off a great start to the work week. We've had sun, been really mild today. Nice.
But we know it's Michigan. Yeah. This could change fast, and that's what Ben is tracking for tomorrow night, Ben.
Yeah, it would have been a great day for a parade, but unfortunately we got to wait till Thursday. It's right in front of that we could have some significant problems. If Wednesday is your getaway day and you're going west or south, there are high wind watches that have been posted for southwest Michigan, parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. This is where we're expecting wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour, which is severe thunderstorm force winds. So please keep that in mind if you're going to be driving on Wednesday. Temperatures have been the least of our concerns today. We've hit the 50s in some spots, and we'll continue to see some relatively mild air in the short term. That dangerous wind comes in on Wednesday, Thanksgiving, Thursday, and Black Friday, no problems at all. But big game, big mess as we get into the weekend, and we'll talk more about Saturday's forecast in a few minutes. Guys?
Okay, Ben. In less than 30 minutes, friends, family, and fellow officers will gather to remember DPD officer Rasheem McClain. Take a look here. This is a live look at Detroit's 12th precinct, where the vigil for Officer McClain will take place. McClain was killed Wednesday night after a gunman opened fire on him and 3 other officers. Police do have the suspected shooter in custody. Right now, warrant requests are being reviewed. We're told no decisions on charges are expected this week. Our Mara McDonald is at that vigil and will bring you a live report when it gets underway at 5:30.
Classes were dismissed early today at Lakeland High School in White Lake Township due to elevated levels of carbon monoxide in the school. Students were released shortly after 11 this morning. Provisions were made for students to wait for buses in the field house, and before doing that, they had to make sure CO levels were safe there. The school is now working with the White Lake Fire Department to deal with these levels in the school and try to get them under control and figure out where the problem originated.
Well, we are 344 days away from heading to the polls in the presidential election, and today marks a major shift.
All because of what you're going to start seeing on TV, including here on Local 4. Jason Colthorpe here now with what makes Mike Bloomberg's TV blitz rather noteworthy.
Yeah, it's because insiders think his entry into the race could throw a bucket of water on any momentum candidates like Senators Harris, Booker, and Klobuchar and Mayor Pete had. But what will it do here in Michigan? When I say the name Michael Bloomberg, what do you think?
I don't know. Who is Michael Bloomberg?
Bloomberg, the money man.
The money man?
Yeah. Former mayor of New York City. Rich, knowledgeable, experienced gentleman.
And now in the race for president.
And now in the race for the president, that's correct.
And now he's taking on him.
Michael Bloomberg has announced his Democratic presence with authority in the form of a $35 million ad buy to make sure as many people as possible know he's running.
I don't want a billionaire in power. I want a person that has lived a common lifestyle and can understand the common people.
Especially in swing states like Michigan, where he may have some work to do.
I don't think there's an immediate impact for him.
Dennis Darnoy is a GOP strategist, and he doesn't think Bloomberg's media splash will register with Michiganders right out of the gate. But with our election still 3 full months away, that could change.
I don't think his numbers are all of a sudden going to spike into top tier or even second tier qualities, but I think being the election for us March 10th, it will give him some time to see if he's for real.
And oddly enough, it could be the impeachment inquiry that helps Bloomberg gain momentum, because the 6 Democratic senators in the field will be tied up with that at the Capitol.
That means that they won't be in Iowa, they won't be in New Hampshire, they won't be traveling, they'll be stuck in D.C. So it gives him a playing field. It'll basically be Biden, Mayor Pete, and himself.
It's really interesting how it could all play out. Another theory, which Darnoy isn't ready to fully subscribe to, is that Bloomberg is just in the race to rail against President Trump. But buying ad time to do that as a candidate is much cheaper than it is if he would do it as a super PAC, so getting the most bang for his buck. And as we were talking, Michigan's election is the week after Super Tuesday. So if there is a handful of success, like 3 or 4 candidates, Michigan really could be high noon, March 10th.
It was obviously key last time around.
Yeah.
We would expect it to be again this time.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. There's an update tonight from the UAW on how things are going with Fiat Chrysler at the negotiating table. We're told the union and FCA have been talking, even though there have been what the union calls distractions recently. That might be an understatement. National parties have negotiated every day while there are still difficult issues to resolve. Talks follow the pattern, of course, of the recent agreements between the union and the other members of the Big Three. So not a lot to go on just yet, but we'll keep you advised. Well, on now to the single game that means everything. It is rivalry week. The Wolverines going head-to-head Saturday at high noon against that team from Columbus.
You don't even want to say the name.
Those guys.
Steve Garagiola is in for Ben tonight, for Bernie tonight, I should say, with what Coach Harbaugh has to say headed into this big game.
This takes me back to the good old days. You know, there's actual excitement again. It has been a long time since the Michigan-Ohio State game created genuine enthusiasm. Since 2004, Ohio State has won 14 of the 15 meetings. The last time Michigan won this game was in 2011. The next win, of course, will be on Saturday. The Michigan coach then was Brady Hoke. The star of the game was quarterback Denard Robinson, ran for 2 touchdowns, passed for 3 more. The Wolverines beat Ohio State 40-34. Current coach Jim Harbaugh was the Michigan quarterback in the mid-'80s, so he is quite familiar with the significance of this rivalry.
We're very aware of the rivalry, having played in it, having coached in it. Grew up here, and my dad was a coach. As I liken the Michigan State game to a state championship, this is even bigger. This is 2 states.
He's right about that.
No, you can't argue that.
Coming up in sports, much more from Coach Harbaugh. And we will start to relive some of the glorious moments of this great rivalry. And there were many.
I hope the team is better at putting last year out of their mind than I have been, because I keep thinking about, maybe a chance to head into the playoff, and then it was a mess.
Whole new thing.
Whole new thing.
Whole new
All
thing.
right. Cool.
Thanks, Steve. The flu season is off to the earliest start in a decade. Ahead in good health, why you need to pay close attention, especially if you're traveling this Thanksgiving.
Also, fighting a fire never seems routine. New tonight, what caused a Detroit firefighter to be injured battling this vacant house fire. Paula.
You know, a lot of times when industrial progress comes through town, it just mows right over people and their homes. In this particular case, what happened to one woman, well, it brought her to tears. I'll explain.